Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to GameClock, your new favorite sports show. I'm your host, Michael Pales, and today we're going to be breaking down what went down in Week 6, looking on to Week 7, but also we're going to be taking a look back at one of my first videos ever, taking a look at the divisions about a third of the way through the season now, and see where my rankings stack up. Because let me tell you, I was extremely wrong on a lot of them. But first off, let's get to quarter 1. And start the clock. Okay, taking a look at the... Oh, wrong one. That is the... Oh, I needed a different one. That is an error on my part, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. I need the scores. Thank you. That's much better. Okay, as the clock's running down already, take a look at Week 6. Looking at the Eagles, who played the Giants, which, let me tell you, this game was a... insane game. A game that went in and about halfway through the game, you're like, okay, the Giants are somehow hanging with the Eagles. This is weird. And then the Eagles continued to explode thanks to SKATTE-BOOM and went off. 3 touchdowns, almost 100 yards. Like, understand that SKATTE-BOOM is here and he is not going away anytime soon. I'm seeing videos of kids running into poles because of stories they heard about SKATTE-BOOM as a kid, and you're just going to continue to see him showing up, doing backflips, being the guy out in New York. And Jackson Dart continued to play well. Jackson Dart had a rushing touchdown. He was the first touchdown scorer of the game. He's delivering the ball properly, and I think the thing that surprises me is the Eagles' offense got shut down to 17 points by this New York Giants. And this New York Giants team is getting hot. And a team that is hot is going to beat a team that's kind of struggling regardless of the record. And so I think that this Eagles team has a chance to get hot. They're a very fun team to watch, and they're going to be a team that continues to be a fun watch regardless of win or loss. Broncos-Jets. So Broncos-Jets game was out over across the sea over in England. We really did a bad job of representing football to the people in England who were watching this Broncos-Jets game, because this was a rough game. There was 1 total touchdown. I had more passing yards than Justin Fields. And now if you're wondering, what's that mean? Justin Fields has had negative 10 yards, passing yards. That is including, of course, his sacks, which he got sacked 9 times. It was a very, very bad game for Justin Fields. But the other thing that I loved is Aaron Glenn, who's the head coach over there, got asked. He was like, "Hey, is Justin going to get benched? Is this the sign that Justin is going to be done?" And he's like, "No. Quarterbacks have bad games. That's a common occurrence. He has not been the issue. I will continue to say and shout out from the rooftops, Justin Fields is not the issue in New York. I don't know what is, but it's not Justin Fields. He continues to play well. This was a bad game for him, but one bad game should not be the difference between him being the starter or not. Broncos, I expected more. Understand that Justin Fields played poorly because he was playing against a top 5 defense in the NFL in the Broncos. The Broncos offense should have scored more. The Jets have been giving up so many points. This was the best defensive performance by the Jets in a while, and they were able to shut the Broncos down to 13 points with 1 touchdown that came off of a weird screen fake trick play. So understand that this I don't think was a very big representative win for the Broncos. The Broncos continue to squeak out wins that I don't expect, but the Jets, again, they do not seem like a team that should be winless this far into the season. Seahawks versus the Jaguars. The Seahawks versus the Jaguars. Seahawks kind of were pretty commanding, and their defense showed out against the Jaguars. This was a Jaguars team that put up, I believe it was something like 30-something points against the Chiefs just a week ago, and they were able to hold the Jaguars to 12 points. And Sam Darnold looked good. Sam Darnold was delivering the ball properly, delivering the ball to Jackson Smith-Njigba, Cooper Kupp. Like, he was finally passing the ball and getting it to the guys that you want him to get it to. And that was a good play by him. It was good. It was in Jacksonville. Jacksonville, it hurts to lose in Duval. But if you're a Seahawks fan, you like what you see. Your team is currently in contention for winning the NFC West. And that's what you want to see as a fan. And as a team, your defense playing well consistently. Chargers-Dolphins. This game was a just such an enjoyable game to watch. Such a back and forth game. You saw plays being made. Devon Achane had 2 touchdowns. And I think that you look at it and you're like, okay, the Dolphins, we're playing well. We're going great. And then Justin Herbert said, I'm clutch, and just went off. Like, the Chargers social media team posted a photo of a manual car's pedal system and had gas, brake, and then it put Justin Herbert on the clutch. So, shout out to the Chargers social media team. They continue to put out great stuff. But he was clutch. He played in the clutch. He has 18 game-winning drives since his rookie year back in 2020. It's been 5 years. He has 18 game-winning drives, which is good stuff. But the thing that I think most fans in the NFL want to see, and most people want to see, is does that clutch translate to the playoffs? You don't want to be the guy that's known as the clutch guy in the regular season, because the regular season does not matter. What matters is the Lombardi. So that's the one thing I will say. Both teams played well. I think the Chargers, you can still tell that they are missing Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater, but all in all, it was a good game for the Dolphins. Rams-Ravens. The Ravens look abysmal. The Ravens at this point, if I'm the Ravens, obviously I'm not, but if I'm the Ravens and I'm looking at it and being like, what do we need to do to win? Lamar Jackson is so pivotal. Lamar Jackson might win the MVP as an injured player solely because he proved that he is the most valuable player to that team. What I will also say is that this team might need to start looking at retooling and revamping. You have Lamar Jackson signed for a long-term contract, and understand that his window is a larger window, but you got some guys that are older that have a lot of value right now but are not going to have value later on when they get to those contract years. If I'm the Ravens, I start trading. They traded Odafe Owe to the Chargers. If I'm the Ravens, I start trading some of the older pieces and recognize, hey, this season, obviously they're not out of contention, but 1 or 2 more losses and they're not going to make the playoffs unless they have a dramatic run. And so if I'm them, I'm looking at it at the trade deadline being like, I need to get some assets so we can help better support Lamar come next year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. If they're stuck with an old team that's not playing well, they're not going to be in a good spot. But if they have a younger team that can develop with Lamar and around Lamar, it's going to be a better situation. So I would not be surprised if you start seeing Ravens players get traded. Cardinals versus the Colts. The Colts defense did not play as well as I would have expected against this Cardinals offense. This Cardinals offense was without Kyler Murray, without James Conner, without Trey Benson. They had Bam Knight as the starting running back. Let me tell you, Bam Knight played very well, almost out of his mind. He had 1 or 2 touchdowns, and Trey McBride also had a touchdown. But Jacoby Brissett was the quarterback running it. And when watching Jacoby Brissett play in this offense, the more I realize Drew Petzing doesn't like Kyler Murray. Drew Petzing's system can work if you don't have Kyler Murray, because he likes a quarterback that can stand there, see the field, and deliver the ball, which was what the Cardinals did. They established the run game. They were able to deliver the ball. I loved what I saw out of Jacoby Brissett as a backup. He is a tenured backup. He's one of the best backups in the NFL, and I will stand by that statement. What it makes me scared about is Kyler is either going to be traded or he's not going to get cut, but he's going to either get traded or the Cardinals are going to suffer for the next 5 years as 3 years as his contract stays going. So if I'm a Cardinals fan, I'm like, I think the more I watched and the more I saw, okay, Jacoby Brissett succeed against a team that's currently now 5-1, one of the best teams in football. Kyler would not have done that. I don't think Kyler would have done that. Kyler would not have been able to deliver the ball in the way that he did and do what he did. Also, Marvin Harrison Jr. looked good until he got a concussion. And I think that there's more to say about that, but prayers up for Marvin Harrison Jr. as his injury and his concussion. But let's move on. Colts, Daniel Jones continues to be a top caliber quarterback. He is playing so well and so good. And Jonathan Taylor, it's all the J names. Jonathan Taylor had a game-sealing touchdown, very, very good touchdown that I think looking at this team, it's one of the most complete teams in the NFL, and it's going to be really hard to have any other AFC South team compete with them. I think that if other teams get healthier, if other players start to get into the zone, we might see a shift in the Colts, but I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of Daniel Jones. He's being smart. He's being conservative with the ball. He uses his legs when he needs to. He's delivering the ball in the right spots, and they're controlling the game because they have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Quentin Nelson, who's an all-pro guard. Like, they have one of the best O-lines in the NFL with a top 5 running back. People forget that Josh Jacobs was the number 1 running back just 2 years ago. So the Colts are going to be a team that is going to continue to stay hot and is one of the teams that I will say continue to look out for in these upcoming weeks. And that is quarter 1 as we reset and move on to quarter 2 as we continue talking about these week 6 matchups. Cowboys versus Panthers. Rico Dowdle had a game. Rico Dowdle was a Cowboy last year. And the Cowboys said, nah, you can move on. Go ahead. And with Chuba Hubbard being hurt, Rico Dowdle stepped up. Rico Dowdle had almost 200 yards from scrimmage last week. And then this week, he broke the scrimmage yard record for the Panthers. I need you to understand, as the viewer, Christian McCaffrey was a Carolina Panther and was the previous holder, and Rico Dowdle did it against the Cowboys. Rico Dowdle single-handedly, I wouldn't say single-handedly, but he was a big contributor to this game winning, and this being a winning game. The Panthers' defense really struggled, and I think you saw those moments. Tedero McMillan scored a touchdown as well, and that was important in their team's win. Tedero McMillan's continuing to look like the second best rookie wide receiver because, again, you can't deny Emeka Mbuka, and there's just the absolute skill and just his production has been better than Tedero McMillan's, but Tedero McMillan's going to be a good wide receiver for a long time. The Cowboys. Dak Prescott continues to be an MVP candidate level quarterback. When he is healthy, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Top 10, maybe top 5, pressing top 5. When it comes to him just being able to deliver the ball, he just doesn't have a team around him. He has good players around him on the offensive side of the ball. He was hitting George Pickens everywhere. George Pickens had 2 touchdowns. When he has CeeDee Lamb, he does even more. And so understand that I think the Cowboys' offense is great. Their defense is just so abysmal that it's losing them games. So that's all I'll say on them. The Patriots played the Saints, and the Patriots, Drake May is that guy. Drake May is that good. People are like, Drake May, he's an interesting fellow. He was drafted last year. He played all right, didn't really have the best team. And Drake May is like, oh, this guy he's legit. And understand, the reason that he didn't look good last year was he didn't have a team around him. And even now, he doesn't have a huge team around him, but he has enough pieces to where he's able to deliver the ball. I like the timing he sees on him. I think the more I watch that draft class, the more I'm like, that draft class might be one of the most talented draft classes we've seen in years. You had Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Drake May was in that. Bo Nix and a J.J. McCarthy, I believe, was the draft class. And so far, all four out of the 5 of those quarterbacks I've listed have played extremely well. So, Saints, Spencer Rattler's playing like a starting franchise quarterback. I gave him some crap, but he has been extremely efficient. And I think that these losses aren't necessarily coming off the back of him. And so, the Saints will have an interesting position come draft time, being like, are we going to pick a guy that's going to be this? Or do we try to run it with Rattler and take the guys that are going to be able to build up this defense and bolster around him and build around him? I don't think the Saints will commit to Rattler, but you can't deny the guy's been playing well. Browns Steelers. This game was AFC North football, let me tell you. You had, I think, 2 touchdowns come out of this game. Yes, 2 touchdowns come out of this game. It was Aaron Rodgers to one of his tight ends, and the other one was Aaron Rodgers pass to DK Metcalf. There were 2 total touchdowns. The rest were field goals. They kicked 6 field goals. There probably would have been 7 if not for Heinz Field giving out on Chris Boswell. But Bos played well. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers is continuing to look good. He's making the right reads, making the right plays, which is what you expect from a veteran quarterback. And this also makes it, I would just like to say, this is a statistic that Fox brought up, and I was like, that's insane. The Steelers are 22-0 against the Browns in regular season. In their last 22 matchups, the Browns have lost every single game they have played against the Steelers in regular season. The only game that is not a regular season game that the Browns have won was the one where Baker Mayfield beat Ben Roethlisberger. Crazy statistic. Dylan Gabriel is the quarterback for the Browns, and he is looking good. He's playing well. He's making the right reads. He's not making dumb decisions, and the ball pops off his hand. There's a difference between an NFL quarterback and like a college quarterback when you see the pop and the zip that they have on that ball, and Dylan Gabriel can sling it when it comes to the speed he releases the ball with. And it's hard because that offense is really struggling, and there seems to be moments where it's like, is this going to be all right? But Dylan Gabriel's a young guy. I think if I'm the Browns, I let it ride with him. He's the guy you drafted second round or third round, and you let it ride with him. I don't think you put Shedeur in unless he starts to struggle. But even if he does struggle, don't just pull the rug out from under him. He's a rookie. Give him time, let him develop, and see if he can become that franchise guy that you guys gave up on in Baker Mayfield. Titans-Raiders. Raiders beat the Titans. That's about it. The Titans fired Brian Callahan. I don't think the Titans are going to improve much at all. The only reason that they won one game was because you had one of the single greatest collapse in a game of any NFL team I've ever seen in my entire lifetime. Actually, no. Second greatest collapse I've ever seen in my lifetime. The first being 28-3 and the Falcons. But Titans continue to struggle. I don't blame Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward is a very talented quarterback. He just got drafted into one of the worst situations in football. They have a bad coach, they have a bad team, and he is just having to ride it out with this. I would not be surprised if Cam Ward's a guy that will be successful 2-3 years down the line. But the Titans have to do what they can to surround him with talent and protect him. If they don't do those things, it's not going to work. Niners, Buccaneers. Buccaneers are looking like one of the top teams in the NFC. I would argue the top team in the NFC. They are continuing to put in performances, and Baker Mayfield is going to be the MVP. If he plays anywhere near the caliber and level that he has been playing, he's going to win the MVP. No one out in the AFC is anywhere close to the level that Baker Mayfield is playing at. Baker Mayfield is making plays, is putting the ball on the money, and is showing why he is the guy. And to think that this guy was a backup for the Carolina Panthers just 3 years ago is mind-boggling to me. But the Buccaneers made one of the best decisions they ever did in their franchise outside of getting Tom Brady, but getting Baker Mayfield. And this guy is going to lead them deep in the playoffs. And I am marking you that he's going to win an MVP this year. Bengals versus Packers. I think the Packers probably got a little more scared because there were 2 touchdowns that were scored, and they were like, we probably shouldn't have given up that many points. We have a very good defense. Why did we give up that many points? Well, Joe Flacco was throwing the ball decently. I don't think that the Bengals are the best team, but I think Joe Flacco is an improvement. Joe Flacco is a clear improvement from Jake Browning, let me tell you. He played better. He made better reads. He is a veteran, and you saw it. He had a great pass, window shot, beautiful catch by Jamar Chase to score in the end zone, and that was one of the 3 touchdowns. The Packers played good offense, but against the Bengals, I want to see a little bit more out of the offense. I think the Bengals have one of the worst defenses in the NFL. You want to see more from them. Lions-Chiefs. The Chiefs handled the Lions. Granted, it was a pretty boring game in certain aspects, and the most entertaining thing was the fact that there was a massive fight at the end of the game, and Brian Branch got suspended, and Juju Smith-Schuster ended up on the ground. Yeah, it was a bad game when it came to the aftermath, but it was a good game regardless. And so I would say that the Lions, if you're looking at it, you're like, okay, retool, reset, let's go. It's not a bad situation. It's against the Chiefs, against Patrick Mahomes. If you're a Chiefs fan, you're like, We lost to the Jags, but we beat the Lions. We're back. We're good. So for both of these teams and both these fan bases and both these franchises, I'm like, yeah, we're back. We're good. We're good. Like, just take a breath. You're fine. Bills Falcons. The Bills got mollywopped. Josh Allen had 2 interceptions. He did not look very good. The Falcons had a great rushing attack with Bijan Robinson having 170 rushing yards and a touchdown. And Tyler Algier had a great touchdown run where he trucked a man, put him on the ground level. And we're probably going to end up adding time in overtime, but I'm going to continue talking about this game. The Falcons are looking like a good team, but they're not really going to struggle to get anything outside of a wild card spot, being that they're in with the Buccaneers. If I'm a Bills fan, I might be in a little bit of a panic. You just lost to the New England Patriots. You now just lost in a worse fashion to the Falcons. I'm not panicking yet, but I'm definitely a little bit worried. So, and with that, we're going to go on ahead and add 2 minutes of extra time, overtime, or this will be our halftime show. Either way, let's go. Talking about the Bears-Commanders. The Bears-Commanders game was a very interesting game. Jaden Daniels did a lot through the air and on his legs. You saw some great plays. You saw some great catches. Luke McCaffrey, who's Christian McCaffrey's younger brother, caught a touchdown pass. He's been doing pretty good this season as like a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 in that offense. Jacory Krosky Merritt, I believe that is his name. The running back for the Commanders looked good. But the Bears, for the first time in my lifetime, I saw a field goal that they kicked go their way. Jake Moody, mind you, Jake Moody was on the practice squad for the Bears just a little bit ago and got activated this game. And Jake Moody got cut from the 49ers for missing too many field goals. The 49ers were like, we're done with you. And the Bears said, well, another man's trash is another man's treasure. Let's take this guy and let's do it because our kicking situation hasn't been great. If I'm Caleb Williams, I am elated that Jake Moody just did what he did because you finally had a field goal go your way. They played well. Caleb Williams had a rushing touchdown. You saw a great game from both of these teams. This was a great game. I don't look at this and I'm like, oh, one team looked clearly worse. These were both competitive teams, which is what you want to see from the Bears being in such a competitive division. If you're the Commanders, it's like, this is sometimes how it goes. Sometimes the field goal goes in when you're the Bears, which is mind-boggling. But it was a good game all in all, and I love what I'm seeing when it comes to the Bears. The Bears are improving. The Bears are continuing to do more. DeAndre Swift looked great. He scored a touchdown, and he was playing very well and had some of the game-sealing rushes. And if I'm the Commanders, I'm like, yeah, we're fine. Let's go. The Eagles lost, so we're fine. Let's keep it going, and let's pick it up. Let's get back on the horse. So, and with that, we're going to be moving on to the... We're gonna be skipping halftime today. Halftime, would love to be taking halftime, but didn't really have much to talk about this week on halftime regarding maybe interesting storylines or other things. But we're gonna be breaking down some of the standings right now for the NFL. So I'm gonna get the clock started here on quarter 3. 10 minutes to talk about this. So if you are someone who is a longtime GameClock fan, and by long time I mean the 7 weeks I've been running it, you know that I did a prediction on the different teams out in the AFC and the NFC regarding their standings and where they were going to finish. And we're going to take a look at these teams and see kind of how they're performing and how they're doing. And so first we're going to take a look at the AFC and then move over to the NFC. So out in the AFC, we have the AFC East first. And for the AFC East, I had the Bills on top, the Patriots second, the Jets third, and the Dolphins fourth. And so far, the Dolphins and Jets are kind of close. I think if you just have a game or something that kind of goes the way of the Jets, one extra play, one field goal miss, something like that, it would be closer. But I don't think the Jets look like a team that shouldn't be competing with the Dolphins for the bottom of this division. The thing that shocks me is the Patriots being on top. And the reason they're on top is because the Bills lost this week and because they have the tiebreaker, because they beat the Bills last week. And so now that they're with the same record, they're both 4-2. If I'm a Patriots fan, I'm like, wait, we only had 4 years of being bad, and now we have another generational quarterback? Sick! I don't know how the Patriots fans keeps getting blessed with these generational quarterbacks, but must be great being a Patriots fan. The Bills, I think the Bills are going to come back. I think they're going to bounce back. They're on a 2-game losing streak, but I don't look at this as a huge setback. Sometimes it takes a little bit, but I think they're going to come back. I don't think this is panic bell, alarm bells. Oh no, we're going to lose the AFC East. I think they're going to be just fine. The Patriots will probably continue to compete, but I have a sneaking suspicion it'll end up being a split thing where the Patriots win one and the Bills win one, and all will be merry and on its way. Looking at the AFC North, the Steelers currently are winning the AFC North with a 4-1 record. How are the Steelers, led by a 40-something-year-old Aaron Rodgers, 4-1? My prediction, I had the Steelers being third in the division. I thought, the Steelers, they'll get their winning record. They always do it. They always get their winning record, and all will be fine and dandy. They're currently winning the AFC North by a wide margin. The Bengals look terrible. Their only 2 wins come from when they had Joe Burrow. They have not won a game since Joe Burrow got injured. You have 3 teams on a losing streak of 3 or more in the AFC North. The Bengals have lost the past 4 games they've played. The Ravens have lost the past 4 games they've played. The Browns have lost the past 3 games they've played. If I'm the AFC North and I'm someone who's like, yeah, I love the AFC North. They're always so competitive. Let's take a look at the AFC North. And it's just one of those things where it's like when in Inside Out, when all of the emotions are running around because something's going on. It's like, girl. That's what I think is alarm bells are going off for the AFC North right now, being like, what is happening? This doesn't make sense. So, Ravens, again, I think they will pick up once Lamar gets back, but if not, I think they need to retool. AFC South, I had the Colts being dead last in the division. Well, I was wrong. The Colts are currently winning it and do not look like they're going to let it go. I had the Jags second. That still stands so far, a third of the way in through the season. I have the Titans third, which is not the case, and I had the Texans winning it. So right now, I'm just shooting. I'm batting 100 right now. Everyone says batting 1,000. No, I'm batting 100. I can't hit a ball to save my life right now. AFC West, we got the Chiefs out on top. They're currently third in the division. I had the Broncos second. That's correct. I had the Broncos being second. We're fine. We're back. We're so back. I had the Chargers third. Well, the Chargers are currently winning the division because they have tiebreakers. And then I had the Raiders fourth. At least I can trust that the Raiders will lose the AFC West the most. So, from that perspective, that's the AFC. Not much to say about that. All of these teams, I think the AFC West is going to continue to be competitive. The Chiefs are probably going to come back, but you're looking at 3 very competitive teams and then the Raiders. Over to the NFC, the National Football Conference. First off, we have the AFC East, where the Eagles are currently 4-2 with a 2-game losing streak. If I'm the Eagles, I might be a little worried if I'm an Eagles fan, but I did have the Eagles winning the East. Second, the Commanders with a 3-3 record. I also had the Commanders currently in that second position. I didn't think it was going to be this not this close. This is still a close matchup, but I would have expected a little bit more out of them, but I think the Jaden Daniels injury hurt them a lot just based off of where they were at. Then I had the Cowboys third. The Cowboys are currently in third with a 2-3-1 record. I think the Cowboys are really struggling with the fact that they have that one because they're technically on a 1-game losing streak, and because they won a previous game and they were 2-1. That tie is going to come into some weird finagling things when it comes to like tiebreakers come playoff time. And then I had the Giants last. The Giants are last, but not by much. It's a tie game. That's the only difference. And the Giants are getting hot. And they're the only team currently that had won this week. All the rest of the East teams lost. So if I'm the Giants, I'm like, let's go. This is sick. And then they'll probably get shelled by the next team they play. But either way, then we have the NFC North. The Packers have the tiebreaker. That's such a weird thing to look at. The Packers are currently winning the NFC North, which I had. I have the Packers. This ranking is technically not correct because I had the Bears beating the Vikings. This is where tiebreakers get really weird, guys. The Packers beat the Lions, and they have technically a better win percentage because they have the tie than the Lions, so they're technically higher in the division. And then the Vikings and the Bears have the same record, but because the Bears lost to the Vikings in their first matchup, they're fourth, even though all of them have a winning record. So, very interesting things. But my prediction, the only thing that's different is the Vikings and the Bears are swapped, but I do have the Packers winning with the Lions in second. The NFC South, I had Buccaneers on top, which is correct. I had the Falcons second, which was correct. I had the Panthers third, which is correct. And I had the Saints that are fourth, which is also correct. I was on the money with these ones. I don't see this changing. I don't think there's going to be any sort of like, oh, this team played out of their mind and this is what's going to change. It's not. This is probably what you're looking at right now. What you're looking at right now is going to be the records that you see and how this standing shakeout. There's not going to be much change in this in the NFC South. And then the NFC West. They have 3 teams with a 4-2 record. I'm also extremely off on my predictions. Actually, no, they're not reverse order. The 49ers, I had third, and they are currently first because of, again, tiebreakers. They've beaten the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Cardinals. They've 3-0'd so far in their conference, in their division, I mean. The Seahawks are playing great. I thought the Seahawks were going to be much worse than they are. I still don't believe in Sam Darnold, but I should say I didn't believe in Sam Darnold, and then he's continuing to prove me wrong. So, Sam Darnold continues to play well. I trust that he probably will continue to maintain this pace and this style. And then the Rams 4-2 as well. The Rams, if Puka Nacua went out, but they still won another hard game. The Cardinals, I don't think are winning this division unless they go on the craziest, most miraculous winning streak of your life. We're going to see a Cardinals in fourth for the division. So, overall, just to review, I'm very off, and I'm hoping that some crazy stuff happens in this season, or else I am going to be very wrong when it comes to my predictions for the divisions. So, we're going to transition with this time I have over to... One second. We're going to transition over to the schedule for this upcoming week, and we're going to start taking a look at Week 7 and predicting some outcomes for Week 7. So, I have 30 seconds to break down this first matchup. Steelers versus the Bengals. I think the Steelers are going to win this game. Rodgers is continuing to play at a high level. Obviously, it's not Aaron Rodgers from 2021, but he's still continuing to play well. It's still Aaron Rodgers. He's still a generational talent. The Bengals, I think, are going to still continue to struggle against this defense. I think Joe Flacco is going to get sacked probably 3 or 4 times by this defense from the Steelers. I think their offense is going to have better production, but it's still going to struggle because of the pass rush of the Steelers. I think the Steelers offense is going to succeed a lot and is going to burn the secondary of the Bengals. Okay, into quarter 4. As the time starts, we are in the last quarter. Put the force up. Let us go into this again. So, all in all, I have the Steelers winning this matchup. Rams versus the Jaguars. I think the Rams win this game. If Puka Nacua is healthy, even if he isn't, I think the Rams are still continuing to show that they are a very competitive team in the NFC. They're continuing to play at a very high level. Kyren Williams is playing like a top 5 NFC running back. He is playing extremely well. There's very few running back. There's only a few running backs that I would take over Kyren Williams at this point with just the way he's been playing. Matt Stafford playing at a high level. Their defense has been playing well. So I think that they're going to beat this Jaguars team that's coming off a loss to the Seahawks. And even if they come back with a vengeance, I don't think that the Rams is going to be the team that they come back against if they want to kind of show up and show out. I believe this is an international game from what I can tell. I believe it's probably a London game because it starts at 8:30. So So let me confirm that. Yes, this is going to be a London game. So Rams versus Jaguars in London. Actually, that changes things. I think the Jags win this. The Jags have home field advantage in London. The Jags have continued to be a London team, and so wouldn't surprise me if the Jaguars win this game, bounce back over in London. Eagles, Vikings. Eagles, I think, should wipe the floor with the Vikings. The Vikings coming off a bye week are obviously healthy. The Eagles, I think, are looking at this. They just lost to their rivals, their divisional rivals in the Giants. They're going to come out with a vengeance, come out for blood, and they're going to whoop the Vikings. I think the Vikings are still going to continue to struggle. Whether it's Carson Wentz or J.J. McCarthy back there, they're going to be scared out of their minds because of the Eagles' pass rush, which, yes, has been struggling and took a hit with Zadarius Smith leaving after 11-year career. But I think they're still going to have a struggle when it comes to running the ball against this team and being able to get out there. Passing-wise, I do think that Justin Jefferson's going to have a big game. I think Justin Jefferson's going to have a big game. I think he's going to be the primary target. If they don't have Quinyon Mitchell on him and they have him on Jordan Addison, it's going to be a feeding day. And even if they do, Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the NFL. Patriots. The Titans are not going to win another game. Unless there's another generational collapse, the Titans aren't going to win another game. And that's where I have the Patriots. The Patriots are getting hot, and they are going to start rolling teams, especially the Titans. If I'm the Patriots, I'm like, oh, sick. We have a cakewalk of a few weeks because they have the Saints, and then they have the Titans. Panthers, Jets, Panthers. The Panthers are continuing to play at a high level. They're being very competitive with very good teams, and the Jets are not a very good team. This is one of those matchups I look at, and I'm just like, unless Justin Fields has a game of the generation when it comes to like, my job's on the line, let's go out and play and let's ball, I don't think that we're going to see a huge step up from the Jets. They're going to lose to the Panthers. This Panthers team has been sneaky good all season and has been knocking off teams that you don't expect them to knock off. Dolphins, Browns. This might be controversial, but I'm going to say the Browns. My reasoning for that is the Browns continue to have a top 5 defense in the NFL. The Dolphins' defense has been struggling this past season, this season, and I look at it from a perspective of, I think the defense of the Browns will show up more than the defense of the Dolphins. And that's how the Browns have their one win against the Packers. I think this is going to be a similar win where it's a just low-scoring game. Dylan Gabriel has one passing touchdown to Jerry Jeudy or Harold Fanning, and we're just going to see the Browns win another game. Saints, Bears. I have the Bears winning this. I think I'm going to probably say almost every week that the Saints are going to be the team that loses. The Bears are coming off a very close win against the Commanders, and they are probably feeling good about themselves, and they're going to want to come in and win this game. They're going to want to take this team, Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson, they're going to dial some stuff up. Going to look really creative. Almost Picasso-like play calling. Just be like, yeah, throw some brush strokes here, have the X receiver cross and then do a little jump and a cartwheel and then run here, and somehow it'll be a touchdown. That's my take when it comes to them. They're going to have very creative play calling. They're going to put their players in the right position, and I think they're going to win this football game. Raiders, Chiefs. The Raiders are continuing to play like a poor team. I think Geno Smith throws interceptions in this game. I think the Chiefs, coming off a win against a very marquee win against the Lions, are going to come out and be like, "Oh, cool, it's the Raiders," and wallop them. I don't see the Raiders being a team that's going to have wins. They're obviously going to be trap games. They're going to have games where they're going to win that don't make sense. But this is not that game. I think the Chiefs are going to steamroll the Raiders on Sunday. Colts, Chargers. This is going to be the game of the week. I would argue that is going to be the game of the week. The Colts versus the Chargers. The Colts have been one of the top teams in the NFL, one of the hottest teams. Daniel Jones in a renaissance. Indiana Jones. You have him playing out of his mind. You then have Justin Herbert over here. Clutch win against the Dolphins clutch win last week. I'm trying to remember who. They have a clutch win. They're going to show up. They're going to try to show out. They're going to continue to play at a high level. And we're going to see. No, it was the. Yes, it was the Chargers. Sorry. I mean, it was the Dolphins. Colts are going to play the Chargers. I think the Colts win this. So the Colts have not given me or shown me anything to make me doubt that they're not going to win games. I will say they cut it a little close with the Cardinals. But I have a sneaking suspicion they're going to tighten that up, and we're going to see a great marquee win for the Colts again and have another team that they're going to knock off that you're going to be like, they shouldn't be beating these teams. Giants Broncos. I think the Giants win this game. I've said that I was going to pick against the Giants in almost every matchup, but the Broncos just came off a terrible win. Like when you say, okay, terrible win, no win's terrible. A win is a win. Some wins shouldn't have been wins. You play against any other team other than the Jets, and the Broncos get stomped or lose. If you don't play against the Jets and have a Justin Fields with a net -10 passing, you're not going to win a game. And if the Giants are coming off of a Cam SKATTE-BOOM 100-yard, 3-touchdown performance, if Scat even has close to that performance, the Broncos are going to struggle. And I think the Giants are going to feel the need to lean on SKATTE-BOOM because the rushing defense on the Broncos is not as good as their passing defense. And so the secondary of the Broncos is going to limit the capacity for Jackson Dart to throw, and we're going to see a lot more rushing, similar to what we saw in the Chargers game that they played when they won their first game. So, Packers win this. The Cardinals are. If Jacoby Brissett is the quarterback, I think there's a chance the Cardinals this might be a trap game and they're able to pull another game off. But the Cardinals will keep it close, but I still think the Packers get this one. Micah Parsons has not been as impactful as you would have liked, but it's his presence that has been the impact. So I'm going to take the Packers in this matchup, but keep your eye out for that game. I think the Cardinals might have a sneaky game in them somewhere in the season. Commanders Cowboys. I think the Commanders win this. It's going to be a high scoring game. It's going to be a shootout. I think Dak's going to play well. I think Jaden Daniels is going to play well, and we're going to see a very, very high scoring game. But I do have the Commanders winning this. I think the Commanders defense is just better. Not just, significantly better than the Cowboys defense. Falcons versus the Niners. I think the 49ers probably win this. 49ers, I believe, are going to get Brock Purdy back, and we're going to continue to see that. Obviously, you feel the loss of Fred Warner in that last game. They're coming off a loss. Hopefully, if Brock Purdy comes back, it'll revitalize the team and be able to help them win this game. Sunday Night Football, unless Bijan Robinson has another 170-yard game, I don't see the Falcons winning. If the Falcons they live and die by Bijan, and if Bijan is not the one winning or succeeding, they're going to struggle. Buccaneers, Lions, I think the Buccaneers, I told you, heavy hands hot. I'm going to ride the hot hand. I'm going to ride the hand with Baker Mayfield. He is that guy. He's going to win the MVP. I have them beating the Lions, especially the Lions coming off a loss. And Seahawks are going to beat the Texans. The Seahawks are continuing to show that they're a top defense, not a top defense, but they're definitely top half defense in the NFL. Sam Darnold is not showing any signs of his old self. So from that perspective, I like what I see from the Seahawks more than I like what I see from the Texans. So that's what I'll say. The Texans are coming off a bye week, so they're going to be a little bit more healthy. But Seahawks win this in Monday Night Football at 9 p.m. on October 20th. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, GameClock has come to an end for this week. Thank you for watching in today's episode of GameClock, breaking down Week 6 and talking about Week 7. I hope to see you next time on GameClock. Good evening and good night.